In this video we are going to talk about exporting accounting data. In the first part of this video we are going to look over the accounts that get exported, and in the second part we will look at the actual closeouts and imports into QuickBooks. We are going to concentrate on identifying which accounts get exported and then linking the control accounts to QuickBooks, specifically linking those accounts in Control's chart of accounts with the accounts in QuickBooks chart of accounts. And the first thing we will look at is which accounts get exported.
In Control, we are going to locate the chart of accounts under Setup. Then down to Accounting Setup. And then over on the left is the chart of accounts. We'll select that. Now, like most chart of accounts, we have our account groups: assets, liabilities, equity, income, and expense. And we are going to be exporting accounts from assets, liabilities, income, expense. We will not be working with equity. The first group we are going to look at is going to be the asset accounts, specifically the undeposited funds and accounts receivable in Control. Now, under assets we have undeposited funds, and these are going to include payments you receive, payments in the form of American Express, cash or checks, Discover, or MasterCard and Visa, and really any other payment method you have set up in your system. Note that these groups may be exported separately or consolidated into a total sum. The other assets accounts that we will be exporting into your QuickBooks is going to be the accounts receivables. And in the case of accounts receivable, this is one of two export accounts that you will have to create in QuickBooks. So the AR account must be created in QuickBooks as an other current asset named OOB accounts receivable.
Looking back in Control, we can see our asset account for undeposited funds here in the chart of accounts, and then the name of the account in QuickBooks that you have to match is going to go here under External Account Name. On each of these accounts, the external account name must be the same as the matching account name in QuickBooks. So in other words, undeposited funds goes into an account in QuickBooks named undeposited funds. Likewise, if we go to accounts receivable, which is the only other assets account that we are going to be dealing with in exporting, that is, the accounts receivable that are incurred within Sirius. And the external account name for this account is OOB accounts receivable. Therefore, you must create an account under your chart of accounts in QuickBooks titled OOB accounts receivable under asset accounts.
Alright, so this handles setting up your asset accounts that get exported to QuickBooks. Now, looking in the chart of accounts in QuickBooks, in terms of the asset accounts that you are going to bring over from Sirius, your chart of accounts should look something like this. You should have an OOB accounts receivable account as an other current asset, and your undeposited funds with its subcategories, such as Amex, cash checks, Discover, and MasterCard and Visa. Okay, so the next account group we are going to be dealing with are the liability accounts. In this group of accounts, we're going to be dealing with customer deposits, customer credits, our sales tax liabilities, including our state tax, and any county tax liabilities that are set up. Down at the bottom, the note in green states, you may break out your taxes if you prefer, but generally unnecessary. Ideally, consolidate your tax liabilities into one account and export them into a newly created OOB sales tax account. So for customer deposits, you are going to create in your QuickBooks a liability account called Customer Deposits Taken. In customer credits, we'll do the same thing, and the name of that account will be Customer Credit Balance. The sales tax liabilities, that is all sales taxes coming out of Control into your QuickBooks, will dump into an account called the OOB Sales Tax account. Alright, so moving back into Control, let's expand the Liabilities folder. And the liability accounts that we had talked about were customer credits, customer deposits, and sales tax liabilities. By selecting customer deposits, we can see the external account name that corresponds with the account we had selected. Therefore, customer deposits will export into customer deposits taken. and customer credits into customer credit balance. And sales tax liabilities will be set up in QuickBooks at the OOB sales tax account. It's not written in here, so we'll fill it in. Looking at the chart of accounts in QuickBooks for the liabilities exported out of Sirius, you should see it set up like this: customer credit balance, customer deposits taken, and OOB sales tax, all set up as other current liabilities. Alright, the next group of accounts we will be looking at are the income accounts. In QuickBooks, you will create a sales income account. The accounts to your left will be created and named as shown, however, as subcategories of the sales income account. If your QuickBooks already has an account called Sales Income, then just add the accounts on the left to the existing account as sub-accounts. If you prefer, you may consolidate your accounts into one and have all income data export into the Sales Income account. This is a fine option, as sales reporting and tracking will be occurring in Control. Now in QuickBooks, you probably have your income accounts set up in different forms. The suggestion to set up your accounts as you see them is because this is how they are set up when your Control arrives to you. In time, if you want to change these income accounts how you see fit, you can certainly do that. For ease of setting up your income and exporting accounts quickly, I recommend that you set them up as you see them here. You're going to set up your sales income account with the sub-accounts that are listed here. You're also going to set up another account named Other Income. This account will include 4 sub-accounts: credit memos issued, finance charges assessed, order rounding, and shipping income. Now I recommend, even though you may never use credit memos issued or finance charges assessed, that you do set these accounts up. This is because if you do plan to use them or finance charges, it will not work unless these accounts are set up. Alright, so let's move back into Control. To the left in our chart of accounts, we can see our income folder. Let's expand it, and then we'll expand sales. Here we can see our sales category, and underneath it we can see all the subcategories that we had previously seen. Scrolling down to the bottom, we can see the category Other Income, and the 4 subcategories we had also seen: credit memo, shipping, finance charges, and order rounding. Let's scroll up. Now let's select any one of these subcategories. For example, let's select Digital Prints Income. To the right, under External Account Name, we can see the name that it will export to: Sales Income Digital Prints. However, notice that because this is a subcategory, Digital Prints is not the only thing that will show up in the external account name. Sales will come first as the category Sales Income, Digital Prints. This is exactly how it should be set up. But note that the account name in QuickBooks is named Digital Prints and not Sales Income. Therefore, Digital Prints Income will export to the Digital Prints account in QuickBooks. Now in QuickBooks, your chart of accounts should match what you see on the screen to capture all of the income accounts that will be exported out of Sirius. Alright, so the last account we will go over are the expense accounts. In QuickBooks, you will create an expense account and name it Miscellaneous Sales Related Expenses. That account will contain the sub-accounts below. Write-offs and credit given will be exported out of Control. The corresponding QuickBook account names for these accounts will be Bad Debt Written Off for write-offs and Customer Credits Given for credit given. Alright, so let's move back into Control. To the left, we'll go back to the chart of accounts and we'll expand Expense. And then we will expand Sales Administrative, and then Sales Expenses. Here we can see the 2 accounts that we are concerned with: write-offs and credit given. These 2 will be the ones that are exported into QuickBooks. So your chart of accounts should look exactly like what you see on the screen. The last thing that you do not want to have to deal with after you are live your first or second day is to do your daily closeout and your import not work properly. If because the chart of accounts in control is already set up and you had received it with specific export account names, I recommend you set up your QuickBooks chart of accounts exactly as it is shown here. If that is done, you should have no problem doing your first imports.